Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Shelley Speaks Truth, right here on 2rawfortv.tv. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Now, what we usually do is we do stream from a few other platforms outside of 2Raw for TV, but that is only for a portion of the show. So if you want to see the entirety of the show, you are going to have to come over to 2rawfortv.tv. So if you are watching on Instagram, YouTube, X, what's the other one? TikTok, wherever else you're watching, if you are on those platforms, you will have to come to 2Raw for TV to see the entirety of the show. And that is the number 2, Raw, the number 4, TV.tv. And if you have an Apple device, you can go ahead and go to the Apple Store and download the app and watch from there. And with that being said, once again, welcome to tonight's show. Please do me a solid and go ahead and share the broadcast. Let everyone know if they want to see the entire show that they will have to come over to 2rawfortv.tv. And again, that is the number 2, Raw, the number 4, TV.tv. And I can't say this enough. Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for being here. And before we get into our main topic of the night, I do want to take a moment to just show my respects and pay homage to the Queen Mother, the Queen Warrior, Assata Shakur. She did pass, I believe it was the beginning of this week or late last week, she passed. So rest in power to Assata Shakur. For those of you who don't know, Assata Shakur is actually the godmother of the late and great Tupac Shakur. So Tupac comes from a family of freedom fighters, and Assata Shakur, his godmother, being one of those freedom fighters. She is a icon in Black American history. And for people who may not know who she is, I do have a brief, short documentary on how she ended up being in exile from the United States of America. So we're going to go ahead and play that clip, and we'll be back.
Assata Shakur, also known as Joanne Chesimard, was born Joanne Deborah Byron in 1947. She later adopted the name Assata Olugbala Shakur. Her chosen name reflects her identity and beliefs. Assata means she who struggles. Olugbala means the one who saves. Shakur means the thankful one. Shakur grew up in New York City and North Carolina. She experienced racism and inequality firsthand. These experiences shaped her worldview. She attended Borough of Manhattan Community College and City College of New York. There, she became involved in student activism. Shakur joined the Black Panther Party in the late 1960s. The Black Panther Party was a revolutionary Black power organization. The group advocated for self-defense and social justice. Shakur Assata Shakur, also known as Joanne Chesimard, was born Joanne Deborah Byron in 1947. She later adopted the name Assata Olugbala Shakur. Her chosen name reflects her identity and beliefs. Assata means she who struggles. Olugbala means the one who saves. Shakur means the thankful one. Shakur grew up in New York City and North Carolina. She experienced racism and inequality firsthand. These experiences shaped her worldview. She attended Borough of Manhattan Community College and City College of New York. There, she became involved in student activism. Shakur joined the Black Panther Party in the late 1960s. The Black Panther Party was a revolutionary Black power organization. The group advocated for self-defense and social justice. Shakur's involvement with the Black Panther Party deepened her commitment to activism. She became a prominent voice against police brutality and racial oppression. Shakur's activism brought her to the attention of the FBI. The FBI targeted Black power groups. They saw these groups as a threat. Shakur was labeled a radical and a threat to national security. In the early 1970s, Shakur joined the Black Liberation Army. The Black Liberation Army was a clandestine group. It engaged in armed struggle against the U.S. government. The Black Liberation Army's goal was to liberate Black people from oppression. Shakur faced a series of legal charges during this period. She was accused of involvement in various crimes. The charges included bank robbery and armed robbery. She maintained her innocence. She claimed these were attempts to criminalize her activism. In 1973, Shakur was involved in a shootout on the New Jersey Turnpike. A New Jersey state trooper and a Black Liberation Army member were killed. Shakur was convicted of murder. She was sentenced to life in prison. She has always maintained her innocence in this case. Shakur escaped from prison in 1979. She spent several years underground in the United States. In 1984, she was granted political asylum in Cuba. Cuba became a safe haven for her. Shakur has lived in Cuba ever since. She remains a symbol of resistance. She is a powerful voice against injustice. She continues to advocate for the rights of oppressed people. She has written extensively about her experiences. Assata Shakur's legacy is complex and multifaceted. She is celebrated as a revolutionary icon by many. She is seen as a symbol of Black resistance. Her courage and commitment to justice continue to inspire activists today.
However, Shakur remains a controversial figure. The U.S. government considers her a terrorist. The FBI has a $2 million bounty for her capture. Some criticize her use of violence. They question her methods. Despite the controversies, Assata Shakur's story is an important one. Her life highlights the struggle for racial justice in the United States. Her story sheds light on the government's repression of Black power movements. Shakur's life raises important questions about freedom, justice, and the right to resist oppression.
We end today's show with the words of Assata Shakur, who died in Havana, Cuba, Thursday at the age of 78.
Silence again for the Queen Mother, Assata Shakur. That short documentary was just a brief synopsis of her struggle as part of the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Army. I mean, that 3-minute clip was just a snapshot into the courageousness of this woman. I mean, she literally was given life in prison on trumped up charges that nobody believes that she's guilty of. Again, she maintained her innocence until her death. You know, the federal government targeted the Black Panthers. We know that. And I'm just happy that she was able to escape prison and live the rest of her life free. So shout out to Fidel Castro and Cuba for not returning her to the United States, because if she was to be returned to the United States, she would have been executed. That was their plan. You know, they had a bounty on her, and the tether-in-chief, Barack Obama, decided to up that bounty to the $2 million during his administration. But again, I'm just very happy that she was able to live her life and not be captured, not be brought back here to serve life plus 33 years. That's one part of the video that they left out. They gave her life in prison plus 33 years. And I seen a video where her lawyer explained the situation and stated that none of her DNA was on the gun that they claim was the weapon that killed the New Jersey state trooper. So again, I am so glad that she receive justice on her own terms. Um, Two of the members of the Black Liberation Army did help her to escape from prison. And her story is one that is just nothing short of amazing. So if you don't know who Assata Shakur is, please do yourself a favor and read up on this woman. Words cannot describe really just how courageous and amazing this woman was. And she has transitioned to go be with the ancestors. She is now an ancestor. And again, like I said, I'm so happy that she was able to live her life not in the prison system of America, but was able to escape and get her freedom on her own terms. Now, FBI Director Kash Patel, he came out and made a statement and basically said that no one should be mourning Assata Shakur because she was a terrorist. And of course, he received swift backlash for that. And I'm in agreement with the people that hammered him, that flooded his Twitter page and all of that, just letting him know that he really needs to shut the fuck up. Because one thing that Assata Shakur was that he isn't is courageous. Because a lot of people were confronting him saying, you need to be quiet and focus on releasing the Epstein files and put your focus into the shoddy investigation that you all did into that case and pretty much keep Assata's name out of your mouth. Now, Kash Patel's cock-eyed, cross-eyed self doesn't even know which direction he's looking in. So my advice to him would be to find a seat, have several seats, go sit down in the corner, and keep this queen's name out of his mouth. Because like I said, she is everything that he is not.
True. She
was courageous. She stood up to one of the most powerful governmental systems to ever exist. And she won. If you ask me, she won. People are saying, well, how did she win when she was never able to come back to the United States? Do you think that she would have rather be in the United States or live a free life in Cuba? It's not that deep or serious to be in the United States. I can guarantee you that much. So once again, I am so happy to even be able to have known who this woman is. It's such an honor to know that we have those types of people in our heritage and culture and lineage who stood up against the government, because despite what people try to say, Black Americans' history in this country has been a history of resistance, a history of resilience, a history of fighting. And we continue to do that to this day because a lot of people ask, why are Black Americans always complaining about racism? Why are they always... Black Americans' goal in this country, ever since it was stolen from us, has been to replace the system of white supremacy with a system of justice. That is our goal, and that is what we will continue to do until this system is dismantled. So for anyone asking that question, there's your answer. And if you don't understand that, then you just don't understand that. And I have one last thing to say about Kash Patel. It's my hopes that Assata Shakur's spirit will snatch his steering wheel off while he's driving to work. I hope that the Queen Mother would grant me that one wish. I hope that he's on a high-speed chase and her spirit snatches his steering wheel off at 100 miles per hour. That is my hope. I hope the Queen Mother will just grant me that one wish. And with that being said, rest in power to Assata Shakur. May you have peace forever. Now we have a lot to discuss tonight, because what I've been noticing is that we have a number of white supremacists who have decided that they are going to pretty much get online and lecture the Black community, and we will not be having any of that. So we will address that, because it's just amazing to me that these people think they have any room to lecture us about anything.
But so we got a lot we got to get. You absolutely right. We got a lot that we got to get into. So what's the guy's name that you got that we got the videos, that we got the stuff that we got to play?
Nick Fuentes.
Nick Fuentes. So listen, if you're watching us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, TikTok, any one of these platforms, you got to come over to tworafortv.tv. The app is available in the App Store. You can get it right now for iPhone, right? Google Play Store, we're coming at you soon. Coming at you very, very soon. So you can see the whole production, right? So all of these places, you're seeing some behind the scenes. You're seeing some footage. Some places last week they had you in a 360 view on YouTube.
If you watch that, no, let me say this. If you watch, because I seen a few people commenting on the YouTube video. Thank God they didn't comment about how I look like a Goodyear blimp with a tiny ass head.
Really?
That's I look like the Marshmallow Man. I was like, what's going on here?
YouTube has some kind
YouTube better stop playing in my face.
Well, they got some kind of a 360 type of view.
I don't like that. I literally look like the Michelin Man. It was horrible.
I think we got to turn it off, but you got to come over to Two Raw for TV so you can see the actual production, what the show is supposed to look like, right? So you're not seeing everything in the background. So shouts out to everybody that's joining from all of these platforms, but they will be ending one by one. Sorry for the interrupting, shows. Where you going next?
That's fine. That's cool. All right. So before I get into this clip of Nick Fuentes, I just want to summarize why I even decided to talk about this tonight. Because when I saw the video of Nick Fuentes, I was like, okay, another one of these helium head, sound like they inhale helium for breakfast, lunch, and dinner dudes. And I just was about to bypass it. But I said, you know what? This situation needs to be addressed, because if you know the history of America, like a lot of us do, some people don't. But if you know the history of America and the propaganda against Black people, you'll understand how dangerous somebody like a Nick Fuentes is to the Black community. And a lot of people may or may not know this, but for the people who don't know this, propaganda has been a tool that has been used against the Black community from the beginning of this nation. But after slavery, when we, were no longer on the plantations and we began to have some semblance of freedom in this country, propaganda was a tool that was used against Black people to demean us, to denigrate us, and to basically destroy our image for the world to see. So